My name is Nate Melby, Natemelby.
Outstanding. And you are the fire chief, correct?
I'm the fire chief for the town of Campbell Fire Department.
Outstanding. How long have we been battling? This is quite a fire here in the town of Campbell today.
Yeah, we've been here since 1:30 this morning, fighting this fire.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
So tell me a little bit about what is happening. What is this fire going on?
Yeah, so we have what we call a multi-company operation where we have multiple fire departments and multiple crews assigned to different parts of the firefight. But we're undergoing a defensive operation protecting a couple of structures and trying to contain the fire to the main area of the fire and prevent it from spreading any further.
And what caused the fire?
At this point, we don't have a cause determined, but it started in the area of a shed that contains wood chips that they use.
You got a wind here, so battling this is probably, we are in a valley, so it's probably a little bit easier if it wasn't windy right now, correct? You guys have been, I mean, what is your, I guess your motive here of battling this with the wind?
Yeah, so in this operation, we've been fighting the wind and the fire. The wind, as it increases, helps the fire build, and so we've tried to contain the fire to the area that's been burning. But as we do that, as the wind increases, it also changes the strategy, and we have to try to get on top of the fire more, push the fire back onto itself.
Agencies, is it just Campbell? How many fire departments do we have here, sir?
Yeah, so far today we've had the town of Campbell Fire Department, the city of La Crosse Fire Department, and the city of Onalaska Fire Department.
I see that the shed is heavily damaged. It looks like, is there any other damage, anything else that's behind it or anything else in the area?
Yeah, this facility is used to recycle railroad ties. So they grind railroad ties, they store the chips in the shed, but there are piles of railroad ties all over the yard, and those piles are on fire in addition to the shed.
Any fatalities?
We've had no injuries and no fatalities, and we hope to keep it a safe scene.
So the wood chips are ground up railroad ties. Railroad ties contain a wood stain right on the outside of them. Is there any smoke breathing hazard to breathing this in?
Well, as firefighters, we try not to breathe any of that smoke. We're trained not to, so our firefighters are wearing self-contained breathing apparatus. We're fortunate that the wind is blowing from the north to the south, so it's blowing it away, and we're operating upwind of the fire.
And you said the fire, so you said you guys came here at 1:30 a.m. Do you know what time the fire started at?
I don't know yet.
How will this impact, how will this fire impact the business here?
So, Omaha Track is the business that runs the railroad tie yard, and they're going to be shut down until they can clean it up. I know that they have a business relationship with some of the other businesses around here, and that the property is actually owned by FJ Rovers.
And then what is the tie yard is where they store. Let me rephrase that. What is a tie yard again?
Yeah, so the railroad tie yard is a railroad tie processing plant where they recycle railroad ties after they're out of service. They chip them up, and then they use the wood chips to feed the incinerator at the power plant at the end of French Island.
How many firefighters would you say have responded here this morning since 1:30? I would imagine you guys are kind of taking this in shifts. Are we at that point, Chief?
Yeah, we've been rotating crews. It's obviously very physically taxing on our personnel. And so far I would estimate that we've had approximately 30 firefighters that have rotated through.
So what was the scene when most crews arrived? Was it mostly just the shed on fire, or has the fire shifted since this morning?
Yeah, on arrival the fire was largely in the shed and the surrounding area around the shed, and the wind helped the fire continue to expand. There's just so much fuel there that it's really hard to extinguish. And so the fire expanded from the shed to the rest of the fuel around the shed, the piles of wood.
Speaking of containing it, would you say it's 30% contained, 80% contained?
It's tough to provide an estimate at this point because it's really hard to see it. We have used drones to try to get a better aerial view, and from what we've seen on the drones, I would call it maybe 30% contained at this point, but we still have a lot of firefighting left to do.
So well into the afternoon and maybe the early evening then?
Absolutely.
Anything else Is there anything else that would like our viewers to know?
Yeah, I'd like to share that, anytime you have a large incident like this, it takes a lot of people to keep things working, and we've had great partnership between the fire departments that are on scene. We've had great partnerships with the local businesses that have been helping us, and so we're just going to keep up this effort. We've also had support from businesses that have provided food for our firefighters and individuals that have given us water and things like that. We appreciate that very much.